So as we get into chapter 11, I want you to remember that when we talked earlier this year about a foil in our vocabulary, one of the many definitions for foil is a character who is used to put next to another character to kind of show the differences. So sometimes you have a bad guy next to the good guy to make him look even better, or maybe you have a tough guy next to someone to show if they are really tough or to show how kind they are. So we'll look to see if this maybe makes one of the characters even more severe in their characteristic, or if it is used to show the differences. Chapter 11, The Damsel of Distress. The address on the ID card is in this place on the other side of the mill pond. They used to call it the New Tenements, but now everybody mostly calls it the New Testaments, which Graham told me has nothing to do with the Bible. People will make their jokes, she says. Call that place whatever you want, but you are not to set foot over there. Is that clear, Maxwell dear? It's not like I wanted to go into the tenements. So it was real easy to keep that promise. And then the day after we pulled that soggy purse out of the sewer, Freak explains how it's okay to break a promise if you're on a quest. There may even be a reward involved, he says. The lady won't have much money if she lives in the Testaments, I say. Poor people live there, and dope fiends. What we do is go to the playground and cut over behind the little patch of trees, just in case somebody is watching, and then we can circle around behind the pond. Freak is riding up top, which he almost always does now. That way he doesn't have to wear his leg brace or carry his crutches, and besides, I like how it feels having a really smart brain on my shoulders, helping me think. Freak is talking a mile a minute, more stuff about the round table and how important quests are, and why knights are bound up with oaths, which is not the same thing as swearing, and I'm trying to listen and not ask questions, because if I ask questions, he'll pull out the dictionary. When we get to the Testaments, though, Freak shuts right up. It's this big, falling apart place with a bunch of apartments, and it looks sad and smells like fish and sour milk. There's a lot of bikes and toys lying around, mostly bashed up and broken, and the little kids who live there look almost as busted up as the toys. When they see us coming, they make these screaming noises and they run away, but you can tell they're really not scared. They're just wanting to pretend like we're monsters or something. Eek. Maybe we should reconsider this particular quest, Freak says. He's up there on my shoulders and he's getting real fidgety, squirming around. But we're already outside the apartment door. And I go, maybe she really needs that ID card. So it's my fault what happens next. The door opens before we even ring the bell, and this hand comes snaking out and reaches for the mailbox and finds this rolled up newspaper and pulls it back inside. And there's something about the way the blind hand just moves around. It's kind of creepy. Get me out of here, I'm thinking. Then before I can get my feet moving fast enough to leave, this woman's voice is cussing us out. Iggy, she says. Iggy, come here and see this. Now she's standing in the doorway, this scrawny, yellow-haired woman with small, hard eyes and blurred red lips. She's wearing this ratty old bathrobe, and she's smoking this cigarette and squinting at us and making a face. Iggy, she says, out of the side of her mouth, come here and tell me if the circus is in town or what. Next thing, there's this big hairy dude in the doorway. He's got a huge beer gut, and these giant arms all covered with blue tattoos, and he's got a beard that looks like it's made out of red barbed wire. Ain't the circus, he says, spitting a big gob on the step. This here's the carnival. Freak isn't saying anything, and I want to get out of there, so I go, I'm sorry, wrong number. And I'm trying to leave back away and not fall over the tricycle when this hairy dude comes out of the door real quick and he gets in my way. Not so fast, he says. Who sent you? I know the big one, the woman is saying. She's waving her cigarette around and she's squinting her eyes, and you can tell she's thinking on something, worrying on it like a dog with a bone. I seen him around somewhere. Don't he look familiar, Iggy? Don't he? Freak finally says, please excuse us, we have the wrong address. We were, trying to locate a Miss Loretta Lee. The tattoo dude hears that and he starts to laugh, this fat sound way down in his big belly, and he goes, you hear that, Loretta? This an old flame of yours or what? Then he reaches up and pokes me in the chest hard enough to make me catch my breath. And he says, "Cat got your tongue, kid? What is this, a Siamese twin act?" All I can think to say is, oops. Because really, we have the right address after all. The squinty woman in the robe is Loretta Lee. And even more important, Iggy is Iggy Lee. And I feel like a total butthead because I've heard of Iggy Lee. He's the boss of the Panheads, this bad news motorcycle gang. "We found your purse," Freak blurts out, and he tosses down the purse and Iggy catches it with one hand and he gives Loretta this secret look like we're going to have some fun here. "You better come inside," he says, looking up at Freak. "You and Frankenstein." "Sorry," Freak says, and his voice is chattery high. "We'll have to decline your kind invitation because we have to leave now." Loretta flicks her cigarette butt at his feet, and she says, "Iggy says come inside, you better do it."